My students usually get a coding challenge from us in week 3 or 4 during the Craft Academy Bootcamp, and that is the RPS challenge. And they are challenged to build an RPS rock paper scissors game using test-driven development in JavaScript, including acceptance tests and unit tests. But I'm not going to do this today. However, what I will do is to use an agile method called spiking, and I'm just gonna play around a little bit with the RPS challenge in itself, just getting a feel for how we can solve it, basically, without tests, just playing around. I usually do that when I'm challenged with a task or a problem. I think it's good to experiment a little bit. However, when it's time to actually go into the real development mode, I discard of that scaffolded code or spiked code and start from the beginning. However, now let's just create a new folder, RPS spike. Let's call it that, and in that folder we're gonna touch an index HTML file. It's gonna be a web application, so yeah, sure. And then create another subfolder called assets, and to touch on a JS file. Then we're going to call it RPS.js. Let's go with that. All right, let's pop this open in our code editor. Let's start with some basic HTML, right? So we're going to scaffold. I'm going to use a boilerplate setup that VS Code provides for me, and a basic HTML5 file, and I'm going to call this RPS spike and RPS Thomas, RPS. There we go. And I want to include my JavaScript code. And what do I want to do in terms of HTML? Let's just do an H1 RPS game, and let's say something like H2 make your move. I'm really going to pick some low-hanging fruits on this one, so I will not work with any CSS, at least not in the first iteration. Just a very basic raw HTML RPS game, make your move. We're going to go give it a button. We're going to say rock, and another button, paper, and then another button, and we're going to call it scissors. Right. And we're going to add another div. A div I think we can assign an ID to that div, and that will be the result div, just display results in it. And that's gonna be approximately this in terms of HTML. Now, what we want to do is to assign some actions to the buttons. But before we do that, perhaps we should just open this up in our browser. We can see the RPS game here, rock, paper, scissors. That's the way it looks. Nothing happens, of course, when we click on those buttons. So let's see if we can add some action to this one. Now, I am not a great fan of inline JavaScript, but for this first iteration, I'm just gonna bind an action to this button using the onClick event. So I can say onClick equals, and let's say we can create a method or a function in our JavaScript that we will call, let's say, play game, right? And we want to pass in an argument. We will allow this function to take one argument, and in this case we will pass in the value of rock. I think that's gonna be the easiest thing for us. So we're just gonna do similar things here. Play game. So this one will be paper, like this, and then consequently on the last one we're just going to add on click, play game, scissors. Right, like this, something like that. All right, this means that we want to go into our RPS.js that I've already included. Oh gosh, that was embarrassing. I placed all of my HTML code outside of the body tag. That's a big no-no. Sorry about that, guys. I was in a little too much of a hurry. Let's format our code. This is the way it's supposed to look like. We need to have this inside of the body tag. Good thing I spotted this one. All right, so now the browser does compensate for my mistakes, but still it needs to be in the body tag. All right, so let's go to the RPS.js file, and we're going to create a function, play game, and it's going to be, it takes one argument, and that we will call this player move. Right, there we go. Player move. Right, so what we could do is to get the element where we want to display our results. So we're just going to call this display result element, and we're going to get that by the ID. So we're going to use get element by ID. Oops, and that was result, right? And the first thing we want to do is to say something like display result element inner HTML should be you chose, and then we string interpolate the player move. Whoops, player move. There we go. All right, so let's head over to a browser, and we're gonna click on rock, and the game says you chose rock. We're gonna choose paper and scissors and so on, right? So this is okay, good stuff. Now let's we don't have to have it this big. We can go a little lower on this one, right? Yeah, something like this. All right, so the next thing is that we want to have the computer to choose, right? So we would say const player move equals, and what should that be? Well, we should get that from another function. So we will say get computer move, right? All right, so we need to create that function. So let's do that. Const get computer move, and that will be a function. Oops. First, no typos, no Thomas, come on. There we go. All right, so what do we want to do? So we will just create let computer move, let computer move. So we declare a variable, and we will do something like this. Now we can randomize a number between 1 and 3, or yeah, 0 and 3. No, 1 and no. So we can randomize from 0 to 2, and that's going to return 0 to 3 and then plus 1. Yeah, so it's going to be no. So let's see, math random like this and times 3. So this is going to be it. But we want whole numbers, so we can make use of the math floor function, math.floor like this, and then plus 1, so we always get positive numbers, right? And then so we're just gonna return this, and so we will, yeah, that will randomize 1 2 3, and then we will just return that computer move like this, right? So we could say something, and the computer chose, and then say player. Oh, sorry, this is computer move. Oh, computer move, and we just display the computer move here. Computer move like this. All right, but that's going to be a number, so that's not going to solve our problem. But let's just see if that works. And he chose 1, chose 2, chose 2, chose 3, chose 1, chose 3, chose 2, chose, you know. All right, so for every click, we just randomize a response or a move by the computer. All right, fair enough. But we want this to become, we want this to be rock, paper, and scissors. So we're gonna say computer move in words, right? That's what we want to return from here. But here we will say, we will use the switch operator. So we're going to say switch like this. It's going to take an argument, so we're going to look for the computer move, and here we will say case 1. Then we're going to say return rock and break. Case 2, return paper and break, and case 3. And note that I'm not formatting my code at the moment. Return scissors and break. And now I've just press Option Shift F, and my code can be formatted. Now this is unreachable, so I probably don't use it. Remove all unreachable code. Let's see if this actually works. Sorry, mea culpa. I'm just gonna Z out of this, and I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna say let computer move in words. We're gonna declare this guy, and then we're gonna say that computer move in words equal. That's what we're gonna do in this case statement, of course. That's what we. And then break is not unreachable, and then we return the computer move in words. And here we don't have to say computer move in words, because that's what it's going to be. So get computer move, and so this should be rock, paper, and scissors. Now let's see if that actually is the case. So you chose rock and the computer chose scissors. Good. All right, we get different values if we click on this. Good stuff. All right, so we will now have to compare those things. We have the player move because we already get that from the button. We have the computer move, so we will say const get results, and that would be equal get results, and we're going to this is going to be a new function. We're going to pass in player move, and we're going to pass in computer move, and we're going to create that function up here, const get results, and that's going to be a function, and it's going to take two attributes. We can call them the same thing that we call them down there, although we don't have to, of course, but you know that. Right, so it's going to be something like this, boom, boom, and then we're going to use another case statement, switch statement, sorry, switch like this, and now we're going to use an array. Now there's seemed to be a bit of a gotcha here, right? So I can't compare arrays. I have to join them with like a space in between. I'm not really sure, but then again, I'm not a JavaScript wizard here. Anyhow, let's start with something simple. We're gonna have to have some combinations of my winning hands and my losing hands, right? So for instance, we could say something like case, let's say rock, I choose rock and the computer chooses scissors, for instance, right? So I have to do this join here as well, although, you know, I don't know. And then we just say, here we say return, should we say return? Yeah, let's return you win. You win, exclamation mark. And of course I forgot the colon here, right? But we want to also say default and return you lose, something like that. We're gonna add more cases here, but let's start with this and see if this actually works for us. So in theory, if I choose rock and the computer chooses scissors, I should win. Otherwise, in every other occasion, I will lose at this point. So nothing happens here. Okay. So why not? Okay, so let's just do this simpler. Well, the same way we did it. So I mean, in the previous method, so we're just going to say well, actually, you know, we can do const results equal, we're going to declare the variable, right, results, and then we say results equals you win, and now we have to say break, right, and then afterwards, well, we also need to set this, and probably, do we have to break here? I don't know. And then outside of the switch case, we just say return results, something like this. Okay, let's see. Now, what do we get? Any errors? Cannot access get results before initialization. What? Get results before initial. We cannot get results before initialization. At RPS line 34. Yeah. Oh, is it because get game? Okay, is it a naming clash? Let's just give it another name. Right. Okay. So this is a very common problem because we just, I just gave it gave the function the same name that I gave this constant. So uh, yeah, mea culpa. And now we just say get results. We just want to display it here. So let's reload and we go rock. You lose. You win. Okay, because what did he get here? Let's see if we can console log the computer move. Console log computer. So console logging is very useful for manual debugging, or just getting the feel for your values. So we're just gonna console log the computer move, and we can take a look here in the console in our browser, and he chooses rock as well, and now we chose paper again. Now it was scissors, and now I win. Good stuff. All right, so this means that our function that we built up here is actually working. So let's just think about it. When do I win? Well, I win when I choose rock and the computer chooses scissors. I win when I choose paper and the computer chooses rock. And I also win when I choose scissors and the computer chooses paper. However, I lose when, so if we just say you lose when I choose rock and the computer chooses paper, and I also lose when I choose paper and the other guy chooses scissors, and I also lose when I choose scissors and the guy chooses rock. And so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 combinations. Otherwise, it's a tie. Right. I think so. So I choose rock and the guy chose scissors. And again, I choose rock and he chose paper, and I lose. And I choose rock again and he chooses rock also, so it's a tie. And scissors, paper. Right. Okay, let's try with this one. I choose scissors and he chose rock. I choose paper and he chose scissors. I choose paper again and he chose rock, and I win, and so on and so forth, right? So pretty much all done. We can remove the console log. We don't need it for anything. All right. So is there any other way to do this? Of course there is. There are plenty of different solutions you could use here, but in a way we kind of solved the issue here. What we need to do is to get a random number between 1 and 3, and this does it for us, and then we kind of translate that numeric value to value in words. So therefore we call this variable computer move in words. And we also do some game results, and this is the game itself. We grab the element where we want to display the results. We already get the player move from the button. We get the computer move by calling the get computer move function that returns the result, and we get the get results by get game results and passing in the player move and the computer move, and this switch statement is checking the result for us, and we just display that. So awesome. We could, in principle, just create something like three methods, well, we can make them variables, could be constants, I don't know, and we just say win message, and then we can call it we can call this lose message, and we can call this tie message, and that would be you win. We can make this an array, so we can say you win, you lose, and you tie. It's a tie. Well, it's not you tie, but it's a tie. It is a tie. Right, and we just place these guys into an array. There we go. Which means that we can say win message, you return the win message, win message, and win message, and then lose message on this one. And now if I change my mind, I want to display something other than you lose, you win, or whatever, I can just change it in one place, and that would be also a good thing for us. You win, use paper, and use rock, you win. Choose rock, and give it a paper, you lose. Alright, good stuff. And see if we can get a tie. Yeah, it is a tie because we chose scissors and the computer chose scissors. Alright, so could we do or? Let's try that. So let's say if we just do an or operator, so we can do this and then this. Let's see if that works. I don't know, it should work. It would work in Ruby, I think. So I can just select this and comment this one out, and now we have everything in line. It's not very readable, but let's see if we can get this thing. You win again. Rock and rock is a tie. You lose. Rock and scissors. Let's see if we can win on this one. No, I can't win on this one. No, that's not working. I can't win on scissors. Scissors and paper. Scissor, you choose scissors and the computer choose paper. So this is clearly not working. So let's see if we can Google this a little bit. Let's see here. JavaScript or in switch in case. Test for multiple cases in a switch. Oh, so you can't use this, but you can say case on multiple lines. So we need to get rid of this, and we basically want to reuse this little fellow and this one. I'm copying here because I want to avoid making mistakes. So you can have multi-line case statements, and that will result in this win message. So let's see if that works actually. There we go. Alright, let's reload, and we go rock, you win, paper, you lose, paper equals scissors, paper is a tie, scissors, rock. Yes, I win, good. I chose scissors and he chose papers and I win, good. So it's a little drier, I would say, so we can just remove this guy like this. Right. So I learned something because I wasn't really sure about how to, do or. I thought we could do it, we couldn't. All right. So now I know I can solve this. There's pretty much everything that there's to it. My next step will of course be to give this guy a little bit of more styling, and see if we can get that to work, and then basically make sure that we can just we make sure that we can test all of this, right? And perhaps test afterwards, or test drive the development of this. But that's all of that is a little bit beyond the scope of today's little demo. We solved it. Let's rejoice. Peace out, folks. That was all that I had for you. Cheers.